Cody, congratulations on the win. It looked like you had a lot of fun in there. It seemed like there wasn't really much pressure heading in there. Is that how you sort of felt in the matchup?
Yeah, I was just trying to enjoy the moment as much as I could. I don't know if you watched the fight. You could see that Terrion and I were kind of jawing back and forth at each other a lot of the fight. He'd hit me. I'd tell him, he hit like a girl. I'd hit him. He'd, blow a kiss to me. So it was honestly, it was a fun fight. It's a great opponent, and yeah, I try not to let the pressure get to me. It's just another day. This is what I do. I try not to, put it up on too much of a pedestal to where it, it adds a lot of extra pressure. I kind of just went in there knowing that I've been here before and just got to go out and do whatever it takes to win.
Was there animosity there, or were you guys just engaging in some games?
I mean, yeah, we were fighting each other, so definitely. I mean, I was trying to take his head off, and he was trying to do the same to me. But no, as far as bad blood, no, there was no bad blood. Nothing outside of the sport of MMA.
As far as the fight itself, the takedown seemed to really be the difference in the fight. Was that sort of the focus going in, is knowing that you could out wrestle him?
Yeah, I knew 100% that I could out wrestle him, and that I can out wrestle almost anybody at the bantamweight division. I'm just a lot bigger and stronger and more explosive than these guys are. So pretty much anybody at 135 pounds I can take from their feet to their head in a second flat. And that's going to be the case a lot of these next UFC fights for me. Anytime I get in trouble on my feet, I always have that option. If I hit you, like you're gonna fall. So yeah, and that was a little bit of the game plan. I'd like to have been on my feet more and hit a little bit more, but for whatever reason, every time the guy, he was really long. I was reaching for him, I wasn't hitting him, and then I could see he was getting ready to line up on a combination, and the takedown was just always there. So I took what was there and did what I had to do to win.
You actually outstruck him at a higher percentage. You had 8 of 12 successful takedowns. How would you rate your performance from a scale 1 to 10?
Scale 1 to 10, being on 7 days' notice, coming off the couch. I really 8 days ago I was enjoying my summer, doing whatever the hell I wanted. I really wasn't in a training camp. I'm always in shape. I'm always going to the gym, but it's a lot different when you're getting ready for a fight. You're focused. I mean, there's like a tunnel vision. All you're doing is training. It's a different grind. I was working out once a day, working my day job, not really taking MMA as serious as I thought. Honestly, I thought I was going to be on the UFC card in December, so I was kind of taking the summer off and just relaxing. So, my performance, I would say I would give myself a 7 or an 8, being that it was on, 8 days' notice. I was actually talking to Shelby in between rounds. I was on the bench, I turned and looked at him, I was like, come on. 7 days, Sean. I'm 14-1. Can't you give me 8 weeks? And he laughed. I laughed. And after the fight again, I said 8 weeks. Next time, 8 weeks. I said, promise me right now, 8 weeks. And he's like, okay, 8 weeks. And so hopefully, I'm gonna get 8 weeks next time, and then, we can have this conversation again. And I think that my performance would be a 10.
You want to welcome you to the bantamweight division in the UFC. Who would you like to fight?
Ooh, anybody. I don't care. Anybody. I'll fight anybody. Ideally, for me, coming into the UFC, it was like I was either going to fight a guy like Terrion Ware, who was also making his debut, or I was going to fight a guy that's in like the top 10. You know what I mean? Those are the two things that in my head I really wanted to do, and I did get one of them. I did get another debut guy in Terrion Ware, and I'm really happy that I got this opportunity. But my next fight, I want a name or I want another guy that just had one fight. You know what I mean? So I don't want the really tough guy that's on the cusp of everyone knowing who he is. I want the guy that's on my level, or I want someone in the top 10.
Cody, you said a minute ago that you have a part-time job, or a day job even. What is that?
So I work for a family restoration business, and in the summertime we're always really busy. So I tend to, I'll spend a few days in Grand Rapids, and I'll go home and I'll go back to my house in Metro Detroit and train. And it just so happened that for 2 weeks before I got this phone call, all I was doing was working, basically, working and enjoying my summer. And then of course I'm on the job, and then my manager calls me and says, "Hey, you're fighting the UFC next weekend." I was like, "Oh shit, are you serious? Okay, all right, well, I'll start doing medicals right now. I'm headed to the gym." And 8 days later, here I am talking to you guys.
Is it back to work on Monday?
No. I think I earned a vacation. Like I said, I work for my family, so you know, I'm gonna walk into the stands here in a little bit, and I'm gonna shake my dad, give him a big kiss, and tell him I quit.
And the plan is to fight on that Michigan card that's coming up.
Yeah,
this year.
December.
Just, you know, you've sort of been the face of Michigan MMA as far as the regional scene goes. What can people expect, you know, for that card and the turnout? Like, it's a very big MMA scene.
You know, I'd like to see all the Michigan guys that are on the border. I would like to see all those guys, you know, on that card. You know, I have nothing but love for everyone in Michigan. You know, Michigan MMA. I want to see Michigan guys do good. So I'd like to see as many local guys as possible on that card. You know, there's a lot of us now. There's a lot of guys in Michigan that are popping up in the UFC, and it's just this year too. You know, there's 4 or 5 people from Michigan now that are in the UFC, and you know, I think there's going to be a lot more because you know, Darren Cruikshank and everyone at Michigan Top Team, we're breeding killers. There's a lot of tough guys coming up.
When you only have 8 days notice, what do you put the focus on? I mean, there's only so much you can do with your body in 8 days. So what is it that you actually try to do?
I mean, mainly it was just I was just focusing on sharpening up the tools I already know I have. You know what I mean? I wasn't like in 8 days I was gonna dissect everything Terrion Ware does and come up with this new freaky style of fighting and you know, go out there and implement it in the cage 8 days later. You know, I fought in April 29th, so it was basically just, you know, build from, you know, what I already know I can do and what I do well, and practice those things for the next 8 days, you know, consistently every day, make sure my weight's good, and go out there, have fun, and beat someone up.
Were you being serious? But are you quitting your job and training full time?
You know, I basically already do train full time, but it just so happened that before I got this phone call, I was working a lot more than I was training. There was just a couple of jobs that were really big and had to get completed, and I was helping a lot more. But I pretty much do train full time. I would say I train 10 out of 12 months full time, and work full time 2 months of the year. So my situation has already been like ideal for, you know, training for MMA. So like when I tell my dad I quit, I mean, I've told him it before too. So.